Welcome to the Mad Ron podcast. Where did it all go wrong with me, Mad Ron? I'm currently locked up and I only get one phone call a week, and I've decided to use it to recruit. Why? Well, I need people working for me on the outside while I'm banged up. Obviously, such a blatant approach would be frowned upon by the authorities, so I've disguised all this up as a podcast. We need to turn to the comedy community. Comedians are used to working alone at night and quite often enter a room through a curtain. So I've got a few candidates lined up. Let's see if they've got any potential, and who knows, if it goes well, they could be sharing a cell with me. Comedian and actor Terry Alderton. Terry was nominated for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival Perry Award in 1999. In the early 2000s, he turned to various presenting and acting roles, including London's Burning, before returning to comedy in 2013 in a 10-month stint in EastEnders as Terry Spraggan, the love interest of Bianca Butcher, and which ended when the characters moved to Milton Keynes, of all places. Now a firm favourite on the comedy circuit with 100-mile-per-hour performances of surreal, off-the-wall material with a very clever and different physical delivery, which is unmatched on the circuit. The Times gave him 5 stars with the quote, "dizzying inventiveness." He is currently mid-tour with a show called Terry and Friends. So welcome, Terry.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, Mad Ron. I'll tell you what, it's quite funny you saying all that about me and all that, and then I listen to it and I think, oh, I've done all right.
Well, you have.
Because I don't read the reviews. So love that. Thank you, Times, whenever that was written.
So, so first question to you. If you were going to go in for a colonoscopy, what message would you write on your bum cheeks?
No entry would be really, really unoriginal, wouldn't it? Careful.
And on
be
the other
careful with me bum.
and
if you find anything, don't tell me. Keep it quiet.
So if you find anything, don't tell me, and be careful.
Don't tell me.
Right.
Be careful. Don't tell me.
Nice.
Yeah, can have it written on either arse cheek. Doesn't matter, does it?
No. Have you ever had one?
I have. Yeah, I did. I did have one. I was. I went to India, and I ended up getting something quite nasty, and basically man flu with puking, and I called a doctor. That's how sick I was. And then when I got back, I struggled. So I went and had a colonoscopy, and the guy just sort of laughed at me and went, "There's nothing wrong with you." And I went, "Right, what is it?" And he went, "Hemorrhoids." And then he showed me a picture of my insides, and it looked like a mad meat mountain of horrendous, nasty soreness.
From school, you signed a goalkeeping contract with Southend United, which you told me that didn't last. But I found out in 2004, age 33, you re-signed for them because they had a goalkeeping crisis. So how did that come about then?
Well, I think it was more of a sort of a political stunt, really. Publicity. What are you talking about? Publicity stunt. Jesus Christ! You think I've been down the pub? I have. It was more of that. And I went, okay, I was happy with it because the goalkeeper at the time, Daryl Flahaven, brilliant goalkeeper, had been red carded. And it was just that we coming in the back of this, the first ever Skies, they did this, which now they do the, what's the thing Robbie Williams does? That was the birth of it. Right. He does the Soccer Aid. That's it.
Yeah.
And this was the birth of all of that. And Sky did this Sky One's football legends versus celebrities. And I was the goalkeeper. Mark Bosnich was the first goalkeeper, but he said to me, "I'm coming off after 22." And I went, "How do you know?" He went, "Because I'm going to come off after 22 minutes." And sure enough, he did. And then I went on. And I had a good game, actually. And so for a bit of publicity, Southend United went. And I was on everything. It was incredible. Sky Sports a lot.
Did you get a game?
No. But I did find out. I did find out that if anyone was to sign professional terms, there was a 5,000 to 1 bet you could have had if any of the celebrities were to, go on and be pros. and it was 5,000 to 1. I didn't know that. Otherwise, I would have had a bit of a Tory bet on that.
Right.
But unfortunately, I didn't know.
Hmm.
But it was good. It was brilliant. And on the game, we played Swansea. Steve Tilson was the manager. And I was on the bench because he wasn't going to put me in goal. It would have been embarrassing, a comedian in goal. So they got a lone keeper, excuse me. But I was on the bench, and we signed this kid, Freddie Eastwood. It was his debut, and he scored a hat-trick, but he also scored the first goal in 7 seconds. So he completely upstaged me. Captain.
Brilliant.
Right, but I've got the contract. I'm signed. Signed professional.
Are you reasonably healthy and just about to leave school? No prospect of getting a job? Or maybe you've been a television presenter and need a bit of a publicity boost? Think you might need something to talk about when you're 50? Why not sign a goalkeeping contract with Southend United? Every year we sign hundreds of goalkeepers, and you could be one of them. Worried about embarrassing yourself on the pitch? You won't even get a game. Special introductory offer, free pair of gloves if you sign before August 2027.
You also perform as characters. I mean, I can't imagine anyone
Yes.
doing that, to be honest. But
No.
I've got 2 or 3 of them here that you do, and I just wondered whether you could talk us through them. So you got Danny Dyer, but Dyer spelt D-I-R-E.
Geezer.
Before,
Geezer. Dyer tribe.
yeah. So what's that character do?
Well, I was doing a thing for Virgin Media back in 2007, and they wanted me to sort of host it. And I went, fine, but I didn't want to be me as it. So we did these. Mr. Sheepskin was the first one, because I know you're going to come on to that.
Yeah.
And he would go to various grounds, and he was a proper over-the-top, nasty man. Great fun to do. And we did that. And then when we were there, we went to the V Festival in Chelmsford in Essex. And they tried to get me to do Vox Pops. And what Vox Pops are, as you've probably seen on the telly people listening, is when they just go up to various people and ask them questions. Okay, it's pretty much simple as that, but random questions. So 1 minute you're talking to Rupert, whatever his name is, who played, God knows, in Harry Potter. I don't know, the ginger one, right? And then you go to someone else, and then someone else, and someone else. And we went to Danny Dyer, and I didn't want to do this, what we were doing. I wanted to stay in my characters, and he basically completely pied me off because there was a backstory that we used years ago. We did this polo event, and I didn't know who Danny Dyer was, and I kind of half caned him, but didn't mean to do that. So it was his right to reply on this particular day. And he kind of walked off. He left me standing there. And then Tamo Hussein went, all right, because he's lovely, Tama. And I went, yeah. And then I went, well, we'll leave it there then. And I felt like a bit of a prat. So I said to my crew, we're going to do a whole Real Football Factories, but we're going to send it right up. And then it just went through the roof because it's called the Real Football Factories, proper naughty geezer. And they went viral. Yeah, they went viral while we were doing that.
Brilliant.
And then I decided to make a little pilot for the BBC because they asked me to, believe it or not. And we did Being Danny's Dyer, where he'd run away. He'd been accused of various things, and he was in hiding on a sort of witness protection thing. And he ended up in a holiday camp in Sheppey. And you can find it on YouTube if you put in the real Being Danny's Dyer is what you're looking for, with me and Johnny. And he played Tama Salata, not Tama Hussein.
But let's just sort of like go into the Hancock's half hour, because he's a massive influence, isn't he? He's like you love that program.
Love Tony Hancock. I'm a massive fan of Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I see a lot of myself in it. But really, Hancock was the first to be doing it. He sort of it was very of the time. It was very of the 60s, of course. It was very scripted, but it was very much that awkwardness of this comedian, i.e. Larry David as well, who it was slightly different from Hancock because he was supposed to be a failure, wasn't he? And not really moving on. But somehow the BBC decided to do this show about this guy who wasn't doing very well. But it's insanely brilliant, and I love it. I love it to death. He's so British, and it's
Well, he's
so
got an
wonderful.
inflex limited opinion about his ability and what and who he is, which just.
Well, I think sadly, what happened was he took that to the literal, didn't he? I think
Yeah,
because, of course, the boys were writing the show and they were fantastic, and they were writing these shows when they were 17. Don't forget. And from what I mean, his suicide note is when he got to Australia. I mean, one of the maddest things, if you ever watch the show of him going to Australia, which I can't remember what it's called, it's on YouTube, and it's kind of a massive long suicide note. It's quite dark and macabre, if you want to look at it like that, because when you watch it and you know what the ending was, that he actually got to Australia, because of course he was turning around to everybody at that point and saying, I should be a big star like Charlie Chaplin, and they were going, but you're very British. He doesn't extend, but brilliantly British. And as I was saying, his actual suicide note said, too many things were going wrong, but you were a big fucking star. I mean, Jesus. I mean, how can it go wrong? But you know what it's like being in this business. You just never know. You just never know, really, if you're getting it right or not. And it was a very sad thing. But if you get to watch, I can't remember what it was bloody called, but it's him going to Australia, because that's of course, where he ended up when it all went wrong in the UK for him. He tried to launch a career in Australia, but that is just quite testing to watch, that whole. And Sid's in it, of course.
Well, you mentioned Curb Your Enthusiasm. So Larry David, I've heard a story about him sitting in a baseball stadium with 55,000 people all around him. Of course, the cameras pan round straight onto him and his mate, and everyone in the stadium gives him a standing ovation, apart from a bloke that's 2 rows in front of him who says, I can't stand that bloke. And then walking out the stadium, Larry David's saying to his mate, why didn't that bloke like me? Why didn't that bloke? What's wrong with that bloke? Why didn't he like me? And the guy's saying, well, the other 54,999 people in that stadium gave you a standing ovation. There's one person that you didn't please.
Yep.
It's
Welcome
an
to
amazing,
comic world.
Amazing thing, isn't it? Really.
They use that. They use that in an episode as well. They did use that what you're talking about. It is in an episode of Curb. I think it's in the pilot. I'm not sure. Could be wrong.
Right.
But that's what we do as comedians, don't we? You can be absolutely rocking the room, and through the light, you just see one person going, nothing, and you're like, oh,
yeah, but they're the guys that come
for
up
some
to
reason.
they loved it.
But the thing was, I remember doing that in the East End once. Where was I? I was doing a room next door to where Samuel Pepys wrote the diaries, just there by the Tower of London. And I remember doing that and seeing a woman under that light looking at me as if she hated me, and just thinking, oh God. And I remember at the end of the show, she come up to me and she was just so lovely and so in awe of it all. And I said, I could see you not smiling. She went, I didn't want to miss anything. I was kind of going, oh my God, what's going on here? So, shouldn't judge, should you? That's what we do as comedians. We're terrible for that.
I know quite a few comedians whose audience, don't want to miss anything and sit there in silence. So.
So what you did there. You don't know. You're bloody brilliant. Yeah, you're great,
So,
Mad Ron. I love Mad Ron.
what do you think of the Paul Merton remakes of Hancock's Half Hour?
Oh yeah, I wasn't happy with that. Listen, I don't know Paul, so no, what's it called? No bias in any way. I don't know him, so, but not for me. Not for me.
Well,
it's one of those things where they try and remake stuff, and you just go in, no. You don't do that. You just listen to the originals. It's like when Steve Martin did all the Panthers. I mean, no. You don't do
Some
that.
things should be left alone.
That. No, because it's Sellers that's funny. It's the film. The film's bollocks. It's Sellers. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Most people think original films are the best. We can prove it. Maybe you don't want to waste money on writing original material and want to jump on the back of something that's guaranteed to make money grabbing easier. Here at Wood Holly, we're looking for blockbuster films that are begging to be ruined. Wood Holly, we make it worse.
You're mid-tour at the moment, so you're doing Terry and Friends. How's that going? And where can we see it? Any dates after my release date?
Terry and Friends is all over the place, but the thing about it is, it's all about what it is. It's me. I host the night. You've done it yourself, and then I put on people I like, and I say to them, just do what you want, just lose your thing. Because, of course, when you turn up to comedy clubs as a comic, a lot of the time you're like going, all right, I've got to do my stuff, and I've got to be not impressing, but you want another gig. I don't care. You turn up, you do your shit, and I want you to lose your nut and do what you do. I don't want you to try and impress the crowd. I want you to go and do what you do, and they've been very successful for that. And I think the comics like it as well. Excuse me. But we got a lot. We've got a few coming up to the end of the year. Then in the new year, I'm going to get Pasquale's going to do quite a few of them as well. So that's going to be great. And I think people don't realise how brilliant Joe Pasquale is sometimes. You know, I mean, he's outrageously brilliant. So he's going to do a few, and then we'll come up with some other people and just turn it into a crazy night. So that's
it's great having him on. If you can afford the helium, that's fantastic.
Oh no, he's got no helium, love. He just talks like this all the time. This is the funny thing. When Joe rings me, I talk to him like this, and he talks to me like this, and then we talk to each other for quite a while because it's how he talks in real life, love. And this is what it's like. But when you see him on stage, it's all like that. Sexy mother. That's him on stage. But off stage, he talks very fast, and he eats very fast as well. And if you put a fried breakfast in front of him, he eats it so fast you can't believe he's just eating it. Like he just breathes it in. That's how he talks, love. That's how he is in real life.
So you did Celebrity Pointless with Joe Pasquale.
And we won it. Yeah, I did nothing on it. The Celebrity Pointless was I was pathetic, and all I did was do impressions of Joe. And he's something else with that. His general knowledge is stupid. No, he's stupid. He's got one of those. I mean, he literally could be a chaser.
Right.
That's how good he is. And of course, one of his best friends is Bradley Walsh. But he could be he could easily be a chaser. That's how good his general knowledge is. Joe's a very, very, very bright human being.
Right, I want to get into your background, understand a bit about the years that made you the person you are today. So what's the first time you ever remember doing something naughty?
Naughty? Oh,
Yeah.
I remember going... so I lived in a place called Southwood and Ferrers, which is like this little sort of one-track town, and we were on that one track, and there was a printing firm that were doing, I can't remember what at the time, but you would get them in Kellogg's and stuff like that, you know, and everyone was after them. And we knew where we were. There was an industrial estate. They were doing the printing there. So we all hopped over and got in their bins and nicked all the stickers and all that. And I remember climbing across back over the railway lines, and then the policeman turned up and we all got nicked in this little Fiesta Panda car. And, oh, God, the trouble. My dad went mad at me for nicking stickers that were being thrown away anyway. They were going to go in cornflake packets, but they weren't going to go in the cornflakes packets because they were being thrown away anyway, and we all got told off being on the railway line. And I was probably about 10. And I think it's the only time my dad ever really actually belted me around the head, because I was hiding because I knew the police were going to turn up later and go, right, your son. But bless my dad's heart, he was just more worried that I'd been playing on a you know,
a railway line.
A live railway line, yeah. That was more the point. He wasn't annoyed with me. He was just a bit gutted. That's it. That's the naughtiest thing I've done. That's how naughty I am. And I've sped a few times, and I've got nicked on cameras. Yeah, that's it. I'm double
So
nasty.
what did you get into trouble for then? Was it for the stickers or was it for the railway line?
No, because we were crossing the railway line and we were young people, and they were going, God, you can't be doing that. That's all it was. But when you're like a child, you're like, oh no, I'm in so much trouble. Although I don't think it works like that anymore. I don't know. No. But that's probably the naughtiest thing I've done. Yeah. I mean, that's really crap, isn't it? That's crap.
Well, did they put you inside? Put in a cell, lock you up, and give you a bit of a lesson?
No, I tell you what though, I have been put in a cell. Yeah. I had a joint once in a car years ago. I was in Barnet with this girl, and I'd gone down a kind of Love Lane. I think it was called Love Lane in Barnet. And I had a joint in the car, and the cops came down. They opened the door up, and they went, whose is this then? And I went, it's my mum's car. I went, this is my mum's car. I don't know. So, yeah, I got taken away and put in a cell, and then got a slap wrist and got a caution for having one little tiny one Skinner. So that's probably... as far as the law is concerned, that's probably the naughtiest thing I've done. Yeah.
So what's the biggest lie you've ever told then?
Well, I'm married. There's millions of them. What's the biggest lie I've ever told?
Have you ever lied to get a gig or something in television? Yeah, I can do that.
No, I used to ring up. There was a promoter years ago called Malcolm Hardy, and I used to
Oh yeah.
ring.
Up the street.
I used to ring him up as other comedians to get bookings. I used to do that because, of course, I do impressions. So I'd ring up as Dylan Moran, going, "Hello, Malcolm, can't come tonight," and he'd be going, "Oh, I'll give you another 50 quid." But that's probably the only fraud that I got into, pretending I was other comics. And the good thing was, I thought, well, now I know how much you're paying them. So then I go, well, you pay me that, and they go, no. But you were so desperate, you just turn up anyway.
That was a pretty tasty Dylan Moran impression, to be honest. So who else can
Hello. So I said to him, why? Oh. I love Dylan.
So you're invited on to pro celebrity robbery as a pro criminal. Who'd be your ideal celebrity accomplice?
Well, are we talking for shits and giggles, or are we talking like because we want to get the job done?
Well, shits and giggles, I think. Isn't it?
Oh, Joe, then. It's got to be me, mate. Joe Pasquale, isn't it? Or, I tell you what would be brilliant. Joe Pasquale and Tim Vine. Just because it would just... for once, I'd be in charge. That's the only reason. Because it'd be the first time that I'm actually the grown-up and that they might listen to me. Even though they go, don't be stupid, Terry. What are you talking about? So, yeah, probably Vine and Pasquale would be my co-accomplices.
So I've heard a story about Tim Vine. I don't know how well you know him, but apparently
he's one of my best friends.
If you go to his house, he's got loads of props that he's made.
He has 3 floors, and on the 3rd floor, which is essentially the attic, it is absolutely giant ham sandwiches, great big broccolis. I mean, little weird ice creams. Crazy men made out of wood. It's absolutely, it's a museum on its own. His whole house is a museum.
Does he try it out?
He's got the oldest kettle. He has the oldest kettle I've ever seen in my life. To the fact that he turns it on and goes, "That's going to be a bit of time, so we might as well go and sit down." I love him. He has no time for what's the word? Materialism. He has no time for that. It's not his thing. It's not his thing. Unless, of course, it looks like a giant broccoli. Then he's going to get it.
So I've always fantasised about nicking Michael Palin's passport. Right.
Ooh,
so let's see if he can make a travel program using our railway system. He'd probably start filming it now, and it wouldn't come out until 2028 because of the delays. So what would you like to steal from which celebrity?
Oh, that's a good one. I remember going around to Emma Thompson's house, and she was baking. And I went to the lavatory, and she had both of her Oscars in the toilet. That's no word of a lie. You know, everyone goes, "I'll put them in the loo." She had them both in there. One of them was for the screen adaptation of Emma, was it? I think. And I can't remember what the other one was. But I picked them up, and I was like, oh, my God, I can take these now. She would never know, because they're in the toilet. She doesn't care about them. I'll have them. But they kind of wear off, which is quite weird. Where people clean them, they kind of go a bit silvery. I've noticed kind of the gold had come off them. So that's not really what I would nick. That's just a story about me going around Emma Thompson's house, which just sounds showy-offy and pathetic.
We'll just pick that name up. Yeah.
What would I? Although I was friends with her friend, I was really good friends with her sister Sophie, and who is gorgeous. So that's more the reason why. But what would I steal off someone? That's a really good question. I don't know. Maybe a wine. Maybe I take a pint glass from Ray Winstone's pub that he's got in his garden. There you go.
Right. So, have you been to his pub in the garden?
I have been to his pub in the garden, but I never nicked the glass.
Right. Okay. And are these special glasses? Or?
Nah, just normal glasses. He's just got normal glasses. Or the other one is maybe in fact, one of my very dear friends is Paul Hardcastle, who did the song No 19. And he's got the original tape, which I've held. That's another photo I could tell you of 19 when they used to do it on tape. No, and I've held that. That would be good to nick, wouldn't it? 19.
Yeah, something like that.
No. Yeah. So there you are. No, I'd nick Paul's stuff, and then he'd be going, "Where's my stuff?" And I go, "I'll bring it back. It was just for Mad Ron."
If I could create a new law, it would be that you have to issue a free Gaviscon tablet for every chili rating on a ready meal. So if the packet had 3 chilies on it, there'd be 3 free Gaviscon tablets sellotaped to the
Okay.
carton. Not the
Okay.
basic ones. I need double action at least.
I get
Why?
that.
You know, so honestly, so why should
But
I be
white and
exposed?
pink, white and pink, white and pink.
Yeah.
I know it.
Why should
Okay.
I be exposed to the expense of indigestion tablets, like when they've caused the problem in the first place? So, if you could create a new law or rule, what would it be?
Oh, it's a good question. Comically or seriously for the kind of like, oh, the greatness of everybody. No, let's not do that one. My law would be stop turning your headlights on just before I go past you because you've got shitty old headlights and my car's got really up-to-date headlights that you think are too bright. But instead of just going, oh, he's got bright lights, you want to put your headlights on just before you go past me to flash me out.
It's almost like when people flash you, you know, like for doing something good, you know, like
Your red
flashing the
lights, your red lights. Oh no! You
Yeah.
know what I did? No, literally earlier on, this terrible car came round, right, with these kids in, and a great big spoiler in it. And I pointed at it. I said to my mates, I went, "My son would like that," and they stuck their finger up at me. They were like that at me. They were going, "Fuck you!" And I was thinking, "Oh, I'm not having a go at your car. I'm saying my son would like your car. It was a horrible car. It was shit, but you know, they just went, "Fuck you."
Says more about your son's taste in cars, then, doesn't it? Really?
Well, it says a lot about my son's taste in car, and the mad thing, of course, so I haven't got a son. You don't know if I freeze framed or not, do you?
Yeah, I do. I know you've got a son because I saw him tied up behind a curtain in.
You did see him tied up behind the curtain, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which
got
was
to
a
be
big reveal.
that is the best visual gag ever in Edinburgh. They always do the best joke at the festival, but that no one will ever beat that. And I can't even bother to explain it, people listening, but I will. Basically, I do this thing where I went to one curtain, stage left, as we call it, right? So my left-hand side looking out at you, and I was going, yeah, I'm doing it. And then I'm going, there's no one there. And then I turned to the right-hand side of the stage where you're looking at me, so it'd be your left-hand side. And I say, you think that's bad? I've got an 11-year-old tied up behind that curtain. Oh, miss your mummy, do you? And then I continued that all the way through the act at the Edinburgh show. And at the end, I did this whole thing where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And even the people that know, the people that know, and the people that don't know. But the people that knew were going, oh, I think he's having a proper breakdown here because that's how much of an actor I am. And then, of course, I pulled back the curtain and my son, 11-year-old son, he's sitting on a stool, bound and gagged.
Well, it's a testament to your parenting skills that you can keep an 11-year-old quiet for 5 minutes.
Exactly. You know, saying to your son, look, just pretend you're bound and gagged. Look, no one's going to go mad. I mean, he's done some crazy things with me, and I probably should be locked up, but not in a really weird way. I'm talking about on stage and being outrageous.
If you were to go on this crime with Joe Pasquale and Tim Vine,
Yes,
right,
yes.
what would you leave at the scene of the crime as your calling card?
What? My personal thing, or to say that this is who's been here? My personal thing. Oh, God. Well, what am I going to have on me? Pubic hair? I've got no fucking hair on my head, have I? What would I leave as a calling card? What? Yeah, but what we do, I've got to leave a calling card. This is not going to incriminate me, though. And what kind of crime have we done? With those two, we've probably gone and nicked ice cream or something.
So you've gone into Ray Winston, broken into Ray Winston's pub. You've nicked a glass each. A bar in his garden. You nicked a glass each, and a bit of a joke. You want to leave a calling card. I'll
leave a pair of very gold budgie smugglers.
Right. But would he
Anyone
not know
who's
that?
watched Sexy Beast? Well, this is Sexy Beast. That's very, very, very out there. But it would be the Sexy Beast goals. I don't know why we would leave that, because that's not telling him who it was. He'd be going, yeah, I was in that film. Makes no odds to me.
Yeah. And maybe some suntan cream. Suntan lotion.
Maybe suntan lotion. Maybe we'd just leave a plectrum. And he might think it's like, he might think it's, I don't know, some great rock and roller that snicks his glasses.
What would Tim
Slack.
Vine leave then? What would Tim Vine leave? A big broccoli or something, would he?
I think Tim would just be going, "What are we doing here?" I said no, didn't I? I think that's what Tim.
And Joe
I think I
Pasquale
said politely no.
I think Joe would just maybe he'd probably leave a little bogey somewhere.
would he?
I think I'll just leave that there on the pump.
I don't know. You have to ask them. Get them on.
Right. So I thought I'd get a bit of stick because I once missed the start of a drinking session with the lads. So I said, "I'm sorry I'm late. The wind was against." What's the most creative excuse that you've ever come up with?
Oh, it's me mum's car.
Ah, right.
Now I've called back your call back, haven't I?
You have.
It's me mum's motor. Oh, I don't know. I've come up with too many scrapes. Nothing bad though. I would never do it in a way that no one else is going to get hurt. But yeah, probably that. That's probably the worst thing I've ever come up with. Yeah, it's my mum's car.
Have you got another one? Another excuse?
Oh God. Probably my favourite one is I left my phone at home. That's the other one. Why didn't you pick your phone up? I called you about 3 times. Yeah, I left the phone at home. Now I've given it away, haven't I?
Well, you've got a bit of thought on that, haven't you? Because you did leave it at a gig the other day. So
I've done that many a times. You've been kind enough to pick it up and go, "Is this yours?" Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. How is Angela, by the way?
Angela.
she's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sends her love. Yeah. So, right. What you got planned? What's coming up? What are you going to do? What's your next crime going to be?
I don't know. I'll just keep going. That's all we can ever do, innit? I've got to that age now where I'm just not fashionable anymore. But I'll just keep doing what I do as long as I know I'm true to myself. That's all anyone can do, isn't it? Just got to be true to yourself. Go out and do what you do. So in essence, nothing.
Nothing. Just see what's going to turn up.
We're doing the Terry and Franz on that. Yeah, I will just see what turns up. But not very much in this day and age now. My doors are shutting. My lights are going off. Because when you're a kid, aren't you? All the doors are open and there's all the lights. You can go to that light or that light and get in that door. But as you get older, you go, "Oh God, that light's gone off as well now. All these opportunities have left me. Oh no, what will I do? Just lay in bed and get pissed again."
Well, I didn't start early enough to get any opportunities, mate. So there we go.
You don't need to. You just get your jemmy out. Get your jemmy out and just bang in and go, "Oh, I'm a fucking here. Put me on. I'm mad Ron. Do what I want."
So I don't get an awful lot of news in here. But I did hear that a Florida man was arrested for shooting down a Walmart delivery driver
Yes.
with a 9mm pistol. So do
He
you
cried.
think?
I wouldn't have cried. He didn't cry. I wouldn't. He cried. I wouldn't have cried. He
Do you
shot me in
think we
the
should be-
ear.
Go on.
Do you think we should be allowed to shoot down drones if they fly over your land without permission?
Oh, drones! I thought you were talking about Trump.
No,
I thought you were talking about Donald Trone.
no. Walmart delivery drones.
Yes, drones. Well, we get a lot of drones around here because Chelmsford Council, where I live, they like to fly drones over your land to see if you're not, building something you shouldn't be building. That's where we're at. I mean, it's proper SS stuff here, mate, out in Essex, in Chelmsford. Yeah, what are you building? Nothing. Haven't they got to be? If they're over 400 feet, you can't shoot them. Is that right?
I don't know, but
Because
you
it
worry about.
becomes aviation law, doesn't it?
Oh, right.
I think
Okay.
I'm probably completely wrong, but where I live now, going on that out here, I think if you fly your drone over here, a lot of them got shotguns and they couldn't give a monkeys.
Yeah.
Shoot the fucker down. If somebody's spying in your house, bang, gone.
So, what's one bit of advice you'd give me to keep me on the straight and narrow once I get out of here? Like hobbies, life advice, or taking up the sport, something like that. What do you reckon?
I think when you get out there, Ron, what you should do is you should roll the dice. 1 being go back on it. 6 being the extreme of do nothing ever again and be a lovely man. That's what I think you should do. See where you come out.
What if it ends up as a 2?
Whether you're going to be back in it again, but not as bad as you was.
Right. Okay.
Maybe you're gonna cut out some of the nastier stuff that you did. A 1, you'd still be serving up in the local. A 2, you get someone else to do it for you.
Well, thanks for that, because the best solution so far, or best suggestion, should I say, has been taking up parkour. So
Taking up parkour.
parkour.
Oh, where the kids jump off stuff and run around and
Yeah.
cause trouble. Yeah, well, yeah, I get that. You'll be a nuisance then, not a criminal. Just a nuisance.
Takes me back to when I used to hang around off licenses.
Get your money back on your Corolla bottles.
Yeah.
10p.
Well, thanks very much, Terry Alderton. It's been really interesting,
Thank you very much, Mad Ron.
and I'll get back to you if you've made it into my gang. I'll certainly give you a shout.
I hope I do.
But it's
I'll
been
try my
fantastic.
best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Terry.
very much. I wish you well when you get out, Ron. I'll come pick you up.